women, having to somehow validate your worth as if you belong there, you belong in the conversation just because you're a woman. And it should definitely not be like that. And yet I feel like society today puts that burden on the woman. Prove why you belong in the room. Prove why we should listen to you. Why should we, take seriously what you're trying to say? And I feel like, and tell me if I'm wrong on this, but I feel like when you do assert yourself, when you do step up in a room, when you do, especially on the end of disagreeing with a man or even another woman, you're a bitch. You're problematic. You're trouble to work with. Do you find that when you assert yourself, it's not that you're being an assertive woman, that you're not a strong woman. Now you're a problem or a bitch or somebody not to be with. Like, do you guys run into that problem?
I think personally, the word bold is used. And I really hate it because what you're saying is you're envious or you can't do that. Or, it's this othering that I really dislike when someone says, oh, you're so bold for that decision.
Right.
I'm candid. I'm open. I'm pretty blunt with my thoughts, I guess. I don't shy away from that, but I've also known that gets translated when someone's uncomfortable into the bold language. And for me, it's like, okay. I used to be offended by when I used to be hurt of like, oh my God, am I doing too much? But then that speaks to standing in your power and standing in who you are and what you know your truth to be, I guess.
Yes.
So for me, it used to hurt a lot because that's also people pleasing, right? Like we go back to wanting to like, we go back to wanting to make sure everybody is comfortable. But I think a big thing for me personally this year was realizing that I don't have to people please and I can still be liked. I can still like myself enough to be like, this is what it is. And if we work together, great. And if not, that's okay. We can keep it moving. And I found a lot of peace in that this year. Personally.
And the back half of what you just said is, I think, critically important for anybody out there listening. It's okay not to be liked. If someone doesn't choose to like you for who you are, that's good. That's fine. Let them exit the circle. Let them not be a part of the life. That is okay. I feel like a lot of people run into that like, oh my gosh, I lost a friend today, or oh my gosh, this coworker doesn't talk to me. And it's like, that's okay. It's completely okay to stand your ground, be yourself. And if that means losing somebody from your circle or having to cut somebody off from your life, that's okay, because it's more important for you to be healthy and happy than to worry about whether they approve or disapprove of who you are, right?
When you speak your truth and how other people respond to it,
that's right.
It's not your responsibility how they react to it. It's on them. But speaking your truth is the most important part of this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'll note, being South Asian women, this is something that does stem to that roots of being South Asian American, growing up in a place where you're finding this fine balance between, in the South Asian culture, there's a lot of, which is beautiful, respect of your family, of these things stay close knit, which is beautiful. And I love that aspect of it. It also comes with the side that's, you really have to care what everybody thinks. Mm-hmm. And you can't, before you even think, what do I feel about it? It's, well, what will they say? What will this person react to it? And so, being in the Western culture, sometimes it goes too far, and I see people who will not even try to communicate with their families, and I'm like, well, maybe reach out. I do see that side of it, but I also see the side that's like, you've actually crossed the line, and I don't owe you anything just because you are in the community or in the family. And there are lines that can get crossed where you don't, or at least I feel, you don't owe anything just because there's blood relationships or whatever there. Mm-hmm. You have to do what's good for your own mental health and for your family's mental health. And sometimes that means cutting ties or recognizing when certain communication patterns are just really bad. And if they don't understand where you're coming from, if you explain that and they continue to do disruptive or toxic behavior in their communication method, then you have to know when to let it go or step back. And so a lot of my life was unlearning a lot of that and trying to, like, I am in a good place now where I actually do not care what the community's opinion about what I do is if it doesn't serve me. If I feel okay with something, then I'm okay with it. And the most I extend it out to is making sure I brace anyone within the people I love about something. In fact, if I feel like they would want a heads up, I will give that. But I don't make the extra effort to make sure my community is okay with my life decisions. As long as I'm okay with them, I can live with it, you know? But I actually am kind of the opposite of Chhaya in the word, but same. She gets bold and she hates it. I get nice and I hate it.
Ooh, yeah.
I hate the word nice, and I get described nice all the freaking time. And I can come up with so many other words to describe me, especially if you know me, than nice. That to me is rude, it's lazy, and it's just, once again, it makes me feel like, oh, I'm just a people pleaser and you can walk right over me. And I'm not that.